Hi everyone, I'm Rossi. Like most of you, I'm stuck at home right now, unable to go to the golf course. However, I'm here to teach you a few simple steps and how you can improve your putting and shave strokes off your score in no time. Let's get started. So you want to improve your putting. Well, how do you do that? I think the best way you can do that really is to look at how you practice. Is your practice deliberate, focused, or is it just random, mass, no end state, no focus, no end in sight? Well, if you're the former, I think you're probably better off. But either way, today I'm going to show you how you can improve your putting through better practice. 4 things you need to look at when building a better practice routine are 1, assessments, 2, goal setting, 3, different methods of feedback, and 4, what reinforcers you're using. We'll look at those 4 things today when I walk you through a few different demonstrations on how to implement those into a better practice program. So where do you start? The first thing you need to do is conduct an assessment. An assessment really helps you determine what your strengths and weaknesses are and really drives where you can improve upon and how you can improve upon your putting stroke. So what I've developed here today is a very simple assessment that you can do like here in your home. The assessment I've come up with is just using my own equipment. I have a mat here. It has feet measurement on it, which is very helpful. It's another form of feedback. But bottom line is the assessment is to make as many putts as possible out of 10 from 8 feet. The distance is fairly arbitrary, but it's a good distance to really challenge myself and a distance that really see a lot when I'm out here on the golf course playing. So that's another thing as well that's very important, is to kind of make this assessment similar to things that you would see out when you're actually conducting some sort of game-like situation. So making it as realistic as possible is definitely beneficial. This assessment really, like I said before, is an objective measurement on how you do. So it's a very good baseline to start off from and really drives the rest of your practice program. So I'll go ahead in here and hit 10 putts, and then I'll give you the results. Hi everyone, welcome back to day 2 of this lesson. So yesterday we went into discussing how to conduct an assessment. So from there we also came up with a few different goals, process goals, performance goals, and outcome goals related to the skill improvement. So in order to do that, we're going to get after some practice. So we broke down our practice into 3 different blocks. Each block is going to get after a different portion of the putting stroke. And within those different blocks, we're going to have different feedback and reinforcement mechanisms, along with different process goals to get after improving our putting. Let's get started with the first block. So the first block of practice is we get after fixing my putting path. During my assessment, I tended to notice that on the backstroke of a putt, I would sometimes come out too far away from my body, which can lead to issues with distance and direction when you actually start hitting the ball. Even on a perfectly flat surface, you can induce some side spin, which can obviously affect where the ball is going to go and keep you from getting it where it wants to go into the hole. So I have this training in here. It's just a simple putting mirror with a couple different holes in it, where normally you would put tees on a putting green. However, in this case, I found some screws that happen to fit just fine in here. So what I'm going to do is identify and use my process goal. And my main process goal throughout the putting lesson is going to be a loose grip. So one thing I constantly remind myself is a loose grip. A loose grip allows a loose body and a loose putting stroke, and ultimately leads to a more relaxed state to have a more effective stroke. So as I go to do my setup, I think about having a loose grip. And from there, I can go ahead and take a few practice strokes. And as I'm doing this training aid is going to provide me some feedback and reinforcements if I'm doing my putting stroke wrong or if my path is incorrect. So as I mentioned before, I tend to go too far away from my body. So in this case, what will happen if I do that? So those last two, I happen to hit these screws here on my putting stroke, on the backstroke. So that provides some reinforcement showing me that I want to change that behavior. If I change that behavior, I'll tend to find the center of the club face a little more often when I come back through and actually hit the ball. So again, I'll take a few more practice strokes, avoiding the tees. And remember, have a loose grip. All right, so I missed a couple. I'm going to hit a couple putts and see how it works out. And you don't want to worry about the distance. You just want to find the center of the club face on this, because that's the feedback you need in order to hit a better putt. So again, loose grip. Take a nice easy stroke. And there we go. Do that a couple more times until you feel comfortable. And then once you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and remove the screws, remove the mirror, and just make some putts. So getting to the second block of practice, the other thing I identified during my assessment was I struggled with distance control and speed control. So the way we're going to get after that is through this drill. The first thing we're going to do is incorporate the last drill and tie it into this block of practice. While each block is separate and ultimately getting after a different aspect of the putting stroke and your putting game, we can still tie in some of the different things in both blocks of practice. So here we're going to work on distance control. We're going to hit different putts at different distances and ultimately kind of test ourselves as we go. So again, I'm just going to use this box here. It's about 1 foot by 1 foot. So what I'm going to do is try and get the ball putted into a 1 foot block. So I'm going to set this up here on the side. Again, go ahead and measure different distances in order to be able to work on that. So in this case, here we have 3 feet. So the goal is to get the ball stopped within this 1 foot block. So again, go through your setup, go through your process goal, take a nice practice stroke, and go ahead and try and make it in that 1 foot square to work on your distance. So a little strong on that one. Again, process goal, loose grip. Again, a little strong. So keep doing that until really you can get comfortable at that distance. From there, you go ahead and move it another couple feet. So in this case, we'll go to 6 feet. Again, same thing. Process goal, do a couple practice strokes, go ahead and set up, remember a loose grip, and go ahead and execute. Get a little in the way there, not a problem. A loose grip, get set up. And there we go. And you'll keep doing that until you feel comfortable with that distance or a specific time that you've allotted for this block of practice. Let's go ahead and get into the final block. So here we're on the third block of practice. This block of practice is focused on adding randomness and variability to your practice as a whole. So one thing you can do is you can incorporate the first 2 blocks of practice into this practice, really just kind of as a refresher. But ultimately what we're trying to do here is induce some game-like situations and game-like pressure in order to help you understand what that feels like and know how that can affect your putting stroke, how many putts you make, and overall how it can affect your game. So one thing to do is really practice that more, because as you practice it more, you get desensitized to that type of situation, those types of distances, and other things that may affect your swing. So the way we're going to do that here is test ourselves through various distances at different angles. So the way we're going to do that is hit a couple different putts, and I'll break that down next. So now we're going to hit some putts. The variability comes in the different distances I mentioned before. So what we're going to do is hit 4 putts from 3 feet, 3 putts from 5 feet, 2 putts from 7 feet, and then 1 putt from 9 feet. This gives you some variability and randomness as far as the distances go, and also gives you different feedback in how you can control your distance and find the center of the club face. So before you want to go into that, you probably want to rehash the things you learned in the first block very quickly. And once you do that, we'll go ahead and get started and hit some putts. So I'll demonstrate for you how to do this drill in this third block of practice. So again, remember your process goals. It's always important to reinforce those as you're going along, because those are obviously key to executing a good putting stroke. So here we'll go hit some putts. So after initial assessment, some goal setting, and 3 blocks of practice, we're here to conduct our final assessment. Again, we want to make as many putts out of 10 from 8 feet as possible. Go ahead and get started.